astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
Everybody, this is not a drill. The God Emperor is calling a crusade against the Martians. The Emperor protect, burn the heretic, kill the mutant, purge the unclean. But in all seriousness, this is a pretty ambitious goal he set out. When President John F. Kennedy declared his intention to put a man on the moon, he gave a time frame of 9 years. That was in 1961. It was only in 1969, under President Nixon, that NASA managed to land astronauts on the moon. That last part is important. Trump didn't say we should just plant a flag on Mars. You could already send a robot to do that. No, he said astronauts, people, should land on Mars. And that's a very different proposition. Currently, a one-way trip takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months. And once there, a whole new set of challenges open up. First, long-term space travel poses serious health risks. Low gravity can cause loss in muscle tissue and bone density, changes in eyesight, and a weakened immune system. And that doesn't even get into all the cosmic radiation. Without the Earth's atmosphere, humans can develop radiation sickness and even cancer. But that's not the end of it. Assuming you have enough food and oxygen for the trip and somehow manage to avoid getting microwaved by the sun, you still need to get a way back. Reaching escape velocity on Mars requires way more fuel and energy than on the moon. And that's assuming you're able to catch the brief window of time when Earth and Mars are aligned. If a massive dust storm hits and delays your takeoff, you'll be waiting 2 years for the next opportunity. So yeah, putting a man on Mars is a pretty big ask. It would require a technological leap few of us can even imagine. Who knows, maybe Elon can figure something out. As long as Elon's not too busy dealing with whatever the latest controversy is. Speaking of controversies, number 3, January 6th pardons. After nearly 4 years, the January 6th protesters are being released.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon. Yes. Full pardon. Full pardon.
For years, the media treated the incident as a full-on insurrection that threatened to topple American democracy. A committee was formed made up of 7 Democrats and 2 Republicans, one of whom was noted Trump opponent Liz Cheney. Their investigation grew over time. By the end of 2021, 725 individuals were charged with federal crimes, and by 2024, that number had swelled to 1,500. And of those, more than 64% were convicted. Punishments for the convicted were heavy. For example, Ryan Samsel, who was convicted of assaulting an officer, was recommended a 20-year sentence by the Department of Justice. And photos of his cell painted a not-too-pretty picture of the living conditions. But while some of the protesters did engage in violence, security footage mainly showed people just kind of milling around. Some were even let in and directed by Capitol Police. I did a whole episode. Let's check it out. All this led many to see those arrested not merely as persons who broke the law, but political prisoners. They felt this was an abuse of power, a clear targeting of MAGA Republicans. And that's something Trump could sympathize with. But to make sure President Trump's pardoning of citizens didn't also turn into targeting the politicians who put them in jail in the first place, President Biden made sure to pardon all of the January 6th committee, and a few extras too. Yep, nothing suspicious here. Let's all just forget about it and move on. Talk about the border instead. So, shifting our attention south, we have number 2, declaring war on the cartels. Trump's relationship with Mexico has always been a bit tense.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
But yesterday, things entered a whole new phase. The Trump administration will now designate criminal cartels as terrorist organizations. Now, technically, this isn't a declaration of war, but practically speaking, there isn't too much of a difference. During his first term, Trump used this designation as a justification for killing the head of an Iranian terrorist group while he was in Iraq. So theoretically, the same sort of attacks could be carried out on Mexican cartels. Here's what Trump said.
Would you think about ordering Mexico to take them out?
Could happen. Stranger things have happened.
Mexico's president doesn't like this tactic, preferring increased social programs to solve Mexico's cartel problem. However, this hugs not bullets approach has yielded less than stellar results. like murder and extortion. Issues of crime and immigration have contributed to threats of a tariff war between the two countries. Would a potential trade war